Is your cat suddenly holding their tail in a strange, twitching, low-hanging, or completely puffed up position, and you have no idea why? It is heartbreaking to watch them freeze mid-step, thrash their tail against the floor, or drag it behind them like it doesn't even belong to their body anymore. And if you have been desperately scrolling through forums trying to figure out what your cat is trying to tell you, you already know the internet is packed with confusing, contradictory, and sometimes downright scary advice. If your cat's tail has been acting unusual lately, twitching violently, dropping suddenly, puffing up out of nowhere, or wrapping in ways it never used to, and you are worried something serious might be going on, you are in exactly the right place. Well, it is officially time. Cat parents, the wait is finally over. After our previous video about decoding cat body language crossed hundreds of thousands of views, my comment section absolutely exploded. You all made it very clear. Thousands of you were asking, what about the tail? My cat is doing something weird with their tail and nobody is talking about it. So, today we are doing a deep dive into one of the most misunderstood body parts on the entire feline anatomy. But I have to start with an important warning right up front. Do not ignore what your cat's tail is telling you. Hi, and welcome back to the channel. I have spent years studying feline behavior, communication, and health, and today I'm going to share the ultimate research-backed plain English breakdown of what your cat's tail movements actually mean. When they are cute, when they are a cry for help, and when they are a full-blown medical emergency. Today, we're going to talk about the specific tail positions that signal pain, the twitches that signal a stalking predator hiding inside your living room, and exactly which tail signs should send you racing to the vet before sunset. I promise you, by the end of this video, you will be fully empowered to read your cat like an open book. So, grab a cup of coffee, grab a notebook, let your kitty curl up in your lap, and please hit that subscribe button to join our family of responsible pet parents. Let's dive deep. Okay, start with Chapter 1, the tail as a second language. Before we start decoding specific movements, we have to know exactly what we are looking at. The biggest mistake I see pet parents make is assuming that a cat's tail is just decoration, a fluffy little accessory that hangs off the back. My cat just wags his tail like a dog when he's happy, they tell me. It's cute, I don't really pay attention to it. Let me tell you a secret. A cat's tail is not a decoration. It is one of the most sophisticated communication tools in the entire animal kingdom. It is essentially a spinal cord extension packed with nerves, muscles, and vertebrae connected directly to their central nervous system. And here is the wild part. Cats do not naturally communicate with sound the way dogs do. Adult cats in the wild rarely meow at each other. They save their vocalizations almost exclusively for humans. So how do they actually talk? They talk with their tails. Every flick, every curl, every twitch is a complete sentence. When your cat walks into a room and their tail is straight up in the air with a little curl at the tip like a question mark, that is not random. That is your cat literally saying, "Hi, I'm happy to see you. I feel safe. I'm confident." When that tail suddenly drops to the ground and puffs up like a bottle brush, that is not a cute Halloween costume. That is your cat screaming, "I am terrified and I am about to defend myself." So before we get into the dangerous signs, I need you to understand this. Your cat has been talking to you every single day of their life. You just have not been listening. And starting today, that changes. Next, Chapter 2, the innocent tail movements that mean absolutely nothing to worry about. I want to start here because I do not want to scare you into thinking every single tail wiggle is a medical emergency. Some tail movements are totally normal, adorable, and healthy. Let me walk you through them so you can rule them out first. Movement number 1, the slow, gentle tail sway while your cat is lying down looking out the window. This is your cat in relaxed observation mode. Now they are watching a bird, tracking a squirrel, or just soaking in the world. Their heart rate is calm, their eyes are half closed, and their tail is drifting like seaweed in the ocean. This is beautiful and healthy. Movement number 2, the tail wrapped around your leg or your arm when they greet you at the door. This is the feline equivalent of a hug. In multi-cat colonies, cats wrap their tails around each other as a bonding, affectionate gesture. When your cat does this to you, they are literally telling you, "You are my family." Movement number 3, the little tail tip twitches while they are sleeping. If your cat is curled up in a sunbeam and the very tip of their tail flicks every few seconds, they are most likely dreaming. Cats have REM sleep just like humans, and that tiny tip twitch is often just the brain processing the day. So if you see these 3 signs, take a deep breath. Your cat is fine. Now let's move to the ones that are not fine. Chapter 3, the puffed up tail and the frozen posture. Once owners learn to actually watch the tail, the next thing they ask is, but what does it mean when the whole tail suddenly explodes like a bottle brush? Are they just being dramatic? This brings us to a behavioral state you absolutely must understand. It is called piloerection, and it is the involuntary raising of every single hair follicle along the tail and the spine. Here is the mind-blowing science behind it. Piloerection is not a choice. Your cat cannot fluff their tail on purpose. It is triggered by a sudden dump of adrenaline into their bloodstream, the same fight-or-flight hormone that pumps through your body when you almost slip on ice. To put this into perspective for you, imagine if every time you got startled, your hair, your arm hair, and your beard all stood straight up automatically. That would be a pretty clear signal to everyone around you that you just got scared out of your mind. That is what your cat is doing. Their body is desperately trying to make them look twice as big as they actually are to intimidate whatever just scared them. It could be the neighbor's dog barking through the fence. It could be a strange smell drifting in from an open window. It could be the vacuum cleaner turning on unexpectedly. But here is what most people miss. If your cat is puffing their tail multiple times a day for no obvious reason, they are living in a state of chronic anxiety. That is not cute. That is a stressed animal whose nervous system is overloaded, and long-term stress in cats leads to urinary blockages, digestive issues, and immune suppression. If your cat is puffing up constantly, I want you to reassure them. Turn down the volume, close a window, and give them a safe hiding spot. We are going to fix this. Chapter 4, the low-crouched tail and the hidden pain signal. We know what fear looks like. Now, we have to talk about something even more serious, and this is perhaps the most important 3 minutes of this entire video. When you look at your cat and their tail is not up, not puffed, not wagging, but tucked tightly between their back legs, pressed flat against their belly, and they are walking in a low crouch, please listen carefully. That is a pain signal. Cats are obligate stoics. Let me teach you a little bit of fascinating feline biology. Unlike dogs, who will yelp, whine, and limp dramatically when they hurt, cats evolved as both predators and prey animals in the wild. They cannot afford to look weak because looking weak in the wild gets you eaten, so they hide their pain masterfully. Their tail is one of the very few places their pain leaks through. Here is the ultimate truth bomb. A cat with a tucked, dropped, or dragging tail is very often a cat in significant physical discomfort. It could be urinary tract inflammation, which is agonizing, and one of the top emergency reasons cats end up hospitalized. It could be a soft tissue injury from a fall or a jump gone wrong. It could be a nerve issue at the base of the spine caused by a household accident, like getting the tail caught in a door or being stepped on. It could even be arthritis in older cats that most owners write off as just slowing down with age. If your cat's tail was normally held high and confident, and suddenly it has been hanging low, dragging, or tucked for more than 24 hours, that is not laziness. That is not an attitude. That is your cat telling you they hurt. Never dismiss a tail that has suddenly changed its resting position. That change is data, and data is how you save your cat's life. Chapter 5, the violent thrashing tail and the misunderstood mood. While we are on the topic of tail movements that are urgently misread, we must address one of the most common misunderstandings I see. Mistake number 1, thinking a wagging tail means a happy cat. This is the number one reason people get bitten and scratched by their own beloved pets. In dog language, a wagging tail equals happiness. In cat language, a wagging tail means the exact opposite. When your cat's tail starts thrashing back and forth aggressively, slapping the floor loudly, whipping like a snake, that cat is not excited. That cat is furious, overstimulated, or preparing to strike. Here's the scenario I see all the time. A well-meaning cat parent is petting their cat on the couch. The cat is purring, everyone is happy. Suddenly, the tail starts twitching, then thumping, then whipping. The owner keeps petting because the cat looks so relaxed. Within seconds, the cat spins around, sinks their teeth into the owner's forearm, and bolts across the room. This is known as petting-induced overstimulation aggression, and it is 100% preventable if you just watch the tail. The rule is simple and non-negotiable. The faster and harder the tail is moving, the closer your cat is to snapping. A slow, gentle sway means relaxed. A quick tip flick means, I'm getting annoyed. A hard thumping tail means back off right now. A full-body whipping tail means the bite is milliseconds away. Read the tail, respect the tail, and you will never get bitten again. Chapter 6, the question mark tail and the hunting twitch. Okay, you now know the warning signs. Now it is time to talk about the beautiful, healthy movements that show you your cat is thriving. We are going to start with the gold standard of feline happiness, the upright question mark tail. When your cat walks toward you with their tail held straight up in the air with a tiny hook or curl at the very tip, you are looking at the single most positive tail signal a cat can give. This posture is scientifically linked to trust, confidence, and affection. Kittens do this to their mothers. Adult cats do this to humans and animals they consider family. If your cat greets you with a question mark tail every time you walk through the door, congratulations. You have earned the deepest form of feline love. But there is another movement I want you to watch for, the hunting twitch. Have you ever seen your cat lock eyes on a bird outside the window, lower their body into a crouch, and start rapidly vibrating just the tip of their tail? That is not fear. That is not anger. That is pure predator focus. In the wild, the tip twitch is believed to help cats channel excess energy while they hold perfectly still. It is their body's way of releasing tension without breaking their stealth. It is fascinating to watch, and it is a sign of a mentally engaged, healthy, stimulated cat. If your indoor cat never does this, they may be understimulated. Get them a wand toy, open a window, or set up a bird feeder outside. Watching your cat's tail vibrate during a good hunting session is one of the most rewarding things you will ever see. Chapter 7. The shivering tail and the spraying warning. Now that we have covered the happy signs, we need to address a movement that many owners find embarrassing to talk about, but I promise you, it is important. If you notice your cat backing up to a wall, a piece of furniture, or a curtain, lifting their tail straight up, and then their tail starts shivering, quivering, and vibrating rapidly, please pay attention. That is the pre-spray posture. Cats mark territory by depositing a small amount of urine on vertical surfaces, and the shivering tail is the physical mechanism that happens right before the release. Now, before you assume your cat is just being naughty, listen closely. Spraying is almost never about behavior. It is almost always about stress, medical issues, or environmental changes. Has a new pet entered the house? Has a neighborhood cat been walking past the window and staring at your cat through the glass? Have you moved furniture, changed the litter brand, or brought home a new baby? Any of these can trigger territorial spraying. And critically, spraying can also be the very first sign of a urinary tract infection or bladder inflammation. If your cat is a neutered adult and suddenly starts shivering their tail against walls, do not scold them. Get them to the vet. Punishing a spraying cat is like yelling at a person for coughing. The behavior is a symptom, not the problem. Identify the source, remove the stressor, and if it continues, get medical blood work done. This is one of those tail signals that can literally save a life if you catch it early. Chapter 8, the limp tail and the true medical emergency. We have covered fear, anger, pain, happiness, and marking behavior. Now we need to talk about the tail sign that should never, under any circumstances, be ignored. If you walk into a room and your cat's tail is completely limp, hanging straight down, unable to move, unable to lift, dragging behind them like a piece of rope, and they seem unable to control it at all, this is a genuine drop-everything emergency. This condition is often called limber tail, and in cats, it typically points to one of three serious problems. Problem 1, tail pull injury. Cats' tails are attached directly to the nerves that control the bladder, the bowels, and the back legs. If a cat's tail gets pulled hard, whether by a slammed door, an accidental step, or a rough play session with a child, the nerves at the base of the spine can be stretched or torn. This is called sacrocaudal injury, and it can result in permanent incontinence if not treated within hours. Problem 2, spinal trauma. A fall from a high shelf, a jump gone wrong, or car accident can compress the spinal cord. The tail is often the first visible symptom because it is the furthest extension of the spine and the easiest place for nerve damage to show. Problem 3, severe infection or abscess. A puncture wound near the base of the tail, often from another cat during a fight, can lead to a deep abscess that presses on the nerves and causes tail paralysis. Here is the rule I want you to burn into your memory. A cat that suddenly loses control of their tail is a cat that may lose control of their bladder next. If you see a limp, dragging tail, do not wait until morning. Do not wait to see if it gets better. Get in the car, go to the nearest emergency vet, and go now. Every hour matters. Chapter 9. The environmental factors that shape tail behavior. Okay, we have finally reached the most overlooked part of this entire conversation. If you skip this step, everything you just learned about reading your cat's tail will only get you halfway there. Your cat's tail behavior is not just about their mood. It is deeply influenced by their environment, their daily routine, and the emotional temperature of your home. Let me explain what I mean. If you live in a household with loud noises, frequent visitors, multiple pets, or constant changes in schedule, your cat's tail will show it. Chronic environmental stress produces a cat whose tail is constantly low, constantly twitching, or constantly puffed. That cat is not just anxious by nature. That cat is living in a nervous system that never gets to rest. So how do we fix this naturally and holistically? Number 1, create vertical space. Cats feel safer when they can climb. A tall cat tree, a wall shelf, or even the top of a bookcase gives them an escape route. When a cat has a safe high perch, their tail relaxes almost immediately. You will see the posture shift within days. Number 2, respect their hiding spots. If your cat has a favorite spot under the bed, inside a closet, or behind the couch, do not drag them out. Cats need retreat zones. A cat that always has somewhere to hide is a cat whose tail is confident when they choose to come out. Number 3, keep routines predictable. Feed at the same time. Play at the same time, sleep at the same time. Cats are creatures of ritual, and consistency lowers cortisol levels dramatically. Number 4, reduce visual stressors. If a stray cat is walking past your window and staring at your indoor cat, that is a full-blown territorial invasion in your cat's mind. Close the blinds, use frosted window film on the lower half, and block the sight line. Number 5, and this is the most crucial part, learn to recognize the tail early. The earlier you catch a stress signal, the easier it is to fix. A tail that just started twitching yesterday is a much easier problem to solve than a tail that has been twitching for 6 months. Environmental awareness is not optional. It is the foundation of a healthy cat. I know this was a massive amount of information. And if you have been watching your cat's tail closely for the first time and suddenly realizing they have been trying to tell you something for months, you probably feel a mix of guilt, awe, and determination. Piloerection, sacrocaudal injuries, question mark tails, hunting twitches. It is a lot. But take a deep breath. You're doing the right thing. By taking the time to educate yourself on feline body language, you are literally protecting your cat's nervous system, preventing painful bites, and catching emergencies before they become tragedies. Start today. Sit down on the floor and just watch your cat move around the room for 10 minutes. Notice where their tail sits when they are calm. Notice how it shifts when the doorbell rings. Notice how it drops when they are hungry, tired, or in pain. You can do this. Your cat relies on you to be their translator, their protector, and their voice. And armed with this knowledge, that is exactly what you are. To the thousands of cat parents who demanded this video, thank you. Your love for your pets is what keeps this channel alive. Now, it is your turn to speak up. I want to hear from you down in the comments. Tell me about your cat. What is their name? What color are they? And which of these tail signals have you noticed them doing lately? Do you have a question mark tail greeter, a bottle brush drama queen, or a mysterious low-tail croucher? I'm going to be reading and replying to as many comments as I can for the first 24 hours. So, if this video opened your eyes, please hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and absolutely share this with another cat parent who needs to hear the truth about what their cat has been trying to say. Together, we can spread accurate, compassionate, life-saving knowledge about the animals we love. Give your beautiful, mysterious, tail-talking kitty a gentle head scratch for me. Keep watching, keep listening, and I will see you in the next video.